Hey everybody. So this is part 2 to Run Your Own Race, where it's a 3-part series on account of it's my first series. So just wait for y'all to climb on in and have a chat with me about running your race. I'm going to sip on my kombucha. If you don't know what kombucha is, just think about it like gin and juice, except for I'm not as cool as Snoop Dogg. And I have 5 kids, so I'm not going to be sipping on gin and juice, so I'm going to sip on some kombucha. Also, if you ask my kids, they will tell you, it doesn't matter how cool you are, you will never be as cool as Snoop Dogg. So that one's free. There you go. All right, everybody, if you don't have your, hey, tell Connor I said hi. So glad you guys jumped on. If you guys are watching this on YouTube later and you think I'm crazy for talking to random people who are not in my schoolroom, it's just on Facebook Live. That's where this is recorded. You can comment, so you can just think she's crazy talking to random people, but I'm actually not. They're saying hello to me. So I love that you said hi, Monica. If you guys want to just say hi when you join, that made me feel like I'm not just talking to just the books in my room. He is such a sweet boy, Monica. I love your boy, and I barely know him. I fall in love with people just a little easy. All right, guys, let's do our kombucha. Grab your beverage, and let's get this party started. All right, running your race. Here's what you guys need to know about my talks. I will start off with a story. And chances are the story might sound a little bit negative. And here's the thing. A lot of people, especially over the 17 years that my husband and I have been married, have said negative things to us. But I'm so grateful, and they're funny stories because we just laugh, because humans are just a weird species, right? We're just odd. But the stories are negative. And here's the thing that God has shown me. When life gives you lemons, you just need to make yourself some lemon essential oil, right? God has shown me that the negative stories, the comments folks have made, He's shown me more of a positive bent to them. So if you think, man, this girl has nothing but negative stories, that's a lot of our life. There's a lot of crap that's been dumped on us. But the stories end up being really positive and, to be honest, wicked funny, right? So if you've sat in my chair in our house for 5 minutes, you'll know that things people say that you're like, oh my God, I can't believe they say that, they end up being super funny. So here, like this one. When Zion first got cancer, we were so blessed to know a friend whose daughter was finishing up with leukemia. I'm pretty sure she was done. Her hair was starting to grow back. But she just loved on us, and she walked us through that time. Hold on, here comes. Shut the door, please. You may. She may want something. See, I got my baby. She's being babysat by our babysitter, the TV, by my 15-year-old, because, you know, that's how they babysit. Anyway, so this woman, she loved on us, kind of walked us through the whole children's hospital thing. The other thing she did, she gave our name to a woman who had started a camp for families who had had kids with cancer. So we were blessed to go to this camp. At the same time, the same girl said, when are you going on your Make-A-Wish trip? And we were like, he's not that sick. And she goes, oh, you mean because he's not bald and throwing up? No, know that her daughter had been bald and throwing up. When you think cancer, you think if they're bald and throwing up, then they really have cancer. But if they aren't, then they're just not that sick, right? Don't lie. You guys have said it to me. Don't lie. I know you did. So long story short, we get a Make-A-Wish trip. We're super excited. Our oncologist is like, totally, absolutely. Zion, yes, he's qualifies, more than qualifies. So I'm cutting a friend's hair. She's walking out the door, and we had just gotten back from this trip to Colorado for this camp. And I said, I know, I'm so excited. We get to go on a Make-A-Wish trip. I can't even believe all these blessings that God is giving us. And this woman says, wait for it, this is the good part. She says, well, you know why you get to go on a Make-A-Wish trip, right? And I said, yeah, because my kid's got the cancer. She goes, no, it's because of who your doctor is. Our doctor sat on the board of Make-A-Wish. He's a rare cancer specialist, blah, 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 alphabet after his name. He's some guy, big guy. And I didn't know what to say to that. I was shocked that this woman took something This woman who I thought was a friend, by the way, took something that my family was really, really excited about and minimized it. And it was sad to me. And so she left. And so that was, I don't know how many years ago. I realized about 6 months ago that most of my life, as I have been blessed, and Mark and I have been blessed, and where Texas has just been overly and abundantly blessed, I look at it like, we don't deserve this. We didn't do enough. We weren't poor enough. We weren't sick enough. We didn't look broken enough to have this blessing. Does that make sense? And so what I wanted to share with you guys today about running your race is that we have to stop thinking that. The Father blesses us for so many reasons. Oftentimes, I take my eyes off of my race, our family's race that we're running, and our God, and I look to see what somebody else is walking through. I look to see, for example, people whose kids were much sicker than mine, bald, throwing up, some died. Well, they got their Make-A-Wish trip. See, love, prosper, bad connection halfway through. They got their Make-A-Wish trip also, but I just felt like, oh, yeah, but we just weren't quite there yet. A lot of times I'll ask myself, why our family? Why does our family get showers of buckets of money? Why do we get to go on these really cool trips? We've been to that camp twice now. The following year, when I was pregnant with my daughter, you guys know, or some of y'all who are new to me and we're Texas, you don't know that my daughter was born with the organs all crazy outside her body. So the gal, Jean Marie Alpert, who is in charge of that camp, when she found this out, she's like, oh my God. She said, you guys have been through so much. You want to come to the camp again. So we get to go twice. And on a Make-A-Wish trip. We just get to go on all these cool things because God loves us. See, if you guys have ever ran a 5K, a marathon, half marathon, if any of you are Ironman, however you say that, Iron Women, the races that we run are filled with blessings that are just for us. I was asking my husband, he's ran more races than I have. I've just run with my little people, which isn't very fast and it's not very far, but it's still a race, right? Look at it, I'm trying to minimize that. So I asked him, what are some blessings that only you have experienced that I can share? And one thing he told me that I love this, he said the best thing is when I'm running a race and random strangers, people who don't even know me, will look me in the eye and say my name, cheer for my number, and genuinely cheer for me. I thought, isn't that so true? The biggest blessing is when we have people cheering us on in our race. Also, when you're running, physically running, a little cool breeze that maybe only you feel. For me, when I'm running and I feel like I'm going to die, it's always that certain song. Right now, it's that song, You Are Loved. I don't know who sings it. I can't remember, but it's like, you know, look up and know that you are loved. And a lot of times when I'm running, I'm looking down because I'm like, oh my God, how many more steps? And I just look up and think, that's right, I'm loved. And because I'm loved, the Father chooses to shower me with blessings. Not because of anything I have done. The Bible says we have all fallen short. None of us are worthy of these blessings. None of us. But God sees that we are. So we are. No matter what well-meaning friends tell you, run your race. The enemy takes many forms. Do you guys know that there's an enemy of your soul that's looking to steal, kill, and destroy your plans, your hopes, your dreams, the things that the Father's called you to do? And he takes many forms. In our life, a lot of times that's well-meaning friends. No lie. I shared with you guys the other day about when we decided to save our lives and eat differently and take chemicals out of our home. We have had and still have more opposition to a healthy, well lifestyle than we would if we were getting the McDonald's and using Tide soap on our clothes. It's weird. They're well-meaning friends. They mean well. But they want to minimize your blessing. They want to minimize your race. And I don't know why that is. Maybe I'll figure it out and we'll share that on Facebook Live. Listen only to what God has called you to. Don't listen to me. Don't listen to anybody else. Check in with him. If you think he's called you to it, he's called you to it. He'll let you know. When my husband and I were buying this house, we had a few things that came up that seemed like, ooh, are we not supposed to do this? And maybe we were running ahead, running our race. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I'm like, bye, Jesus, I'll see you later. I got to go. And so I'm running. And I thought, uh-oh, did I do that again? And here's what my husband said. Even if that were the case, we seek God every day. We talk to him. We trust him with our very lives. Do you really think a loving God is going to let us take a step that's not in his will without first telling us? So many times we look at signs and wonders like, it's a sign. We're not supposed to do X, Y, Z. Just because a race is hard, just because you're hitting mile 10 and you're doing the baby giraffe run, crawl, walk, whatever you can do, doesn't mean it's time to stop. Don't take those well-meaning friend comments to heart to mean like, oh, Susie said it was a bad idea. I should probably stop doing this now. Don't do that. Also, it's between you and the Father. Someone is always going to try to disqualify you in your race. Hear me, guys. A lot of times, people will try to disqualify you because maybe they're thinking you haven't trained hard enough. You haven't been through it. None of you guys on Facebook know my whole story. I have a pretty interesting story, and not because I'm so interesting, just because I've walked a really different road. My husband has walked a really different road. So if you guys were looking at us and saying, wow, what's the deal? Why do they have all this money? Why do they have this giant house? Why do all these kids, they get to do all these things? God chooses to lavish us just because he does. Maybe because we've been through it. I don't know. I doubt it, because there's nothing that we've done that can make him love us any more or any less. We've all fallen short. Mark and I just know that when God blesses people, he does it because he loves them, number one, and number two, because blessed people can bless other people. That is truth. We have this gigantic house. Yeah, we have a passel of kids. We have an army. One of my friends calls us an army. And she says it in a super awesome way. She's not dogging us. But so that when a family of 6 says, hey, can we camp at your house for the night because we don't have a place to stay in between? Yeah, come on. Like, we don't even have to think about it. There's plenty of room. A family of 20 could come live here. In my closet, for heaven's sakes, if you guys have seen my closet. God gives us cash, finances, abundant resources, so that when somebody says, hey, there's this widow that needs money or they need to be sponsored, yeah, we're up for it, right? God blesses people so that they can bless other people. I'm just going to have a little word with those of you who are prone to minimize someone's blessing, or those of you who disqualify other runners. Stop it. It's not nice. Don't do that. Keep your eyes on your own race. If there's something in your own life that you are unhappy with, you need to talk to the Father about it. Maybe it's you. Maybe you need to change. Maybe you need to put on your running shoes and get out there. We're not meant to sit life on the couch. We're meant to move. A body in motion stays in motion. Get out there. Physically move, but get out there and spiritually move. Emotionally move. Go run your race. So here's my challenge to you guys today. What voices are you listening to? Or I should say, what voice? Are you listening to your voice? Are you listening to that well-meaning friend, your best friend? It could be your very best friend. Are you listening to the Father's voice? When Mark and I decided to homeschool, I think I was going to say people, almost everybody were like, oh, wow, yeah, we'll miss you. One girl's like, oh, I'll miss you. I cut her hair. I'm like, what, just because I'm not up at Sparks every day, you're going to miss me? Like, aren't we still friends? Just because I homeschooled? It was a weird conversation. When Zion started high school, one woman said, are you still doing that homeschool thing? Yeah, I'm still doing that. You mean educating my people? Yeah, I'm still doing that. Oh, really? Because he's going into high school. Like, that seems crazy. Are you sure you know what you're doing? No, I'm totally sure I don't know what I'm doing. That is one thing I can guarantee you. But the Father knew what I was doing. When my son told me, my oldest, when he was like 7 or 8, Mom, I'm not a sports guy. I'm a science kid. I don't want to do sports. I shared that with a friend. She was asking what sports was I going to do. And I said, that's what he told me. She said, that's really sad. And I laughed at him. I said, well, you know, we're in Texas when someone says, wow, that's sad your kid doesn't do sports. But you see, we knew that that was okay because that was our family. We're Texas was not about that. We're about running our own race, which is so funny. God gives me so many sports analogies, and we're not really a sporty family. Who knew? So are you listening to the fathers? Because if you're not, you need to. That's the only thing you need to hear today. Listen to the Father. What gift have you been given that you're minimizing because you think you don't deserve it? Because you think you're unworthy, that you haven't earned it? Do you know how many people I talk to that think they hope they get to heaven because they've done enough good things? You guys, that is so twisted. Because I got news for you. I would be smelling like sulfur right now. My good cannot add up to my horrible. Really, all of our good deeds are like filthy rags before the Father. We've all fallen short. We don't deserve anything, but God, because He loves us so very much, sees fit as we run our race to throw those little blessings, to have that person cheering you on as you run by, to have that person with an extra cup of water, to that cool breeze that you feel as you're running so hard. Have you simply just said thank you to God and given Him credit and then kept running? That's my challenge to you guys. What voice are you listening to? If it's not the Father's, it's the wrong one. Don't minimize your blessings. Someone told us that we didn't deserve a Make-A-Wish because my kid wasn't that sick, that he didn't have that much cancer. It's like the dumbest thing I've ever heard, and I've heard a lot of dumb things. But we didn't let it stop us. We went on our trip and we had a blast. It was awesome. We haven't let any of those talks. Another thing, we put in a pool and we bought a new van one day. And not one day, just you know how you do. It was all in the same time. And another friend on Facebook was like, oh, it must be nice to be able to do all those things. I'm like, damn right it is. It is pretty nice. But we know that those lavish blessings that the Father chooses to give us, we give to other people. We're so willing to hold our hand like this so that He can give us more so that we can go, here you go, guys. And we don't minimize it. And we give credit to who credit's due. All right, guys. I guess I'll see you Friday. We're still going to be talking about running your race. I'm kind of excited to see what I'm supposed to share with you then. Thanks for joining me. See you later. Oh, by the way, someone asked if you can share these. Yeah, for real. Share it away. Invite your friends. We post them up on YouTube when we're done. We have our own We're Texas YouTube channel. So feel free to share with your friends. All right, guys. See ya.